Hey everybody, welcome to day 40. I just want to say thank you first and foremost for still checking these things out. That's really, really awesome. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the first day of the Landmark Forum. So this is a 3-day event that is followed up by a Tuesday evening. And also I'm not going to be going into any content because I don't want to rob anybody who might end up going in the future. To give you a little bit of background, I've been to two different introduction nights where I wasn't overly impressed, but when I was offered a ticket, I said yes, absolutely. Let's go check it out and find out what it's all about. So after setting aside preconceived notions and really wanting to be present and open up a space, about 3 hours in, my mind started wandering because we are not allowed to take, you don't take notes. And they kept going over a lot of very, very similar questions and kind of rudimentary things that I've covered in a lot of other areas before. Even with looking at it with new eyes, they were just asking the exact same questions in short succession period of time. So I decided to do what any seasoned speaker might do and start counting how many times that the person looked down reading their apparently word-for-word script and holding his hand down to make sure that he was exactly where he should have been. And being able to go through this for 3 hours, watching it just like this, I can appreciate the fact that there were definitely some people who may not be as seasoned or may not be as seasoned trainers. And even if they have somebody else up there, if you're the person who's doing the majority of the reading, or the speaking rather, maybe we could avoid looking down every, single sentence, and that's not hyperbole. I counted at one point 20 minute. I looked at a 20-minute span of time, and this is including 2 other people talking, so that maybe takes up about 5 minutes. So let's say 15 minutes, 94 times that he looked down, paused for a moment, held hand, and then took a look back up. As anybody who's taken a COM 103 class, this would probably drive you insane. And COM 103 is the Introduction to Public Speaking class. So I can only assume that this is part of a much grander vision and kind of overall scheme of the weekend. And that's kind of what I'm basically taking it in as. I've had some difficulty going through the exercises and have even kind of reached out to people who have already gone through it and said, hey, I don't really feel like I'm getting anything from this and I'm really racking my brain for it. How can I grab something give me some ideas. I really want to be, present and, call myself out on my own shit. And I want to go through the processes with some of these people because it's making it also more difficult to connect with others who are going through different processes. And I'm kind of sitting there with an empty plate in a lot of senses. So, that was another thing. The facilitation overall, I don't know how to speak to that quite yet because it's only day 1. And for facilitation, it's very difficult because there are certain times when the facilitator kind of wants to come off as basically an asshole to kind of push a whole lot of buttons or get bored or apathetic or cause any number of different emotions in it. Frankly, I mean, from my gut feeling of being in a lot of rooms where some very heavy facilitation has gone on, I wasn't overly impressed with what I saw in terms of methodology and just overall style, but I can't say anything to that yet. So there are definitely potentials and possibilities there. We'll see how the weekend ends up turning out. But I mean, it's 11:30 right now, and I'm still kind of racking my brain for getting my evening assignment done because I want to be in as fully immersed and as fully jumped into this as possible because I can really, really see some value for people, and I've heard nothing but good things from people whose opinions I respect. And, very, great shout out to Ray for, talking me through a little bit of a break today. And, also for, to Kevin for, giving me a shout out of basically like, hey, stop updating Facebook or whatever else and, get back and being present with it. Which was definitely a big thing, because even if I'm just sitting there counting how many times that they're looking down, without taking notes or without something else, my mind is definitely getting a little bit restless. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm very open, and but this has not, so far this has been my third experience now where after the introduction, where I also had somebody who was basically reading their entire script, I'm not super overly impressed with a lot of the training aspects of it from that sense. Now, on the other side, these are some of the things that I really liked. Of course, amazing people. Like, I love people that come to these types of things and these types of events, and you can see them if you, go through, check some of my Facebook stuff, and, they're all over kind of talking about, hey, like, have a great time or whatever else. Like, I liked it, I enjoyed it, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, good opinions from people whose opinions I respect about these types of things. And overall, the trainer's facilitation was a bit of... From my perspective so far, it's been a bit of a hit or miss, but I don't know really how much to say to that yet, because we're not at day 3, and a lot of these things kind of open up over a few days. One thing, though, that it's... If you're going to open up a can of worms, you better empower the shit out of a person once they either resolve and go through something, or just kind of leave them open, lonely, and wounded as like a wounded gazelle on the Serengetis. So, I don't know exactly how that will end up, but we will see, and it will be interesting. So I'm really sorry about how long of a video this has been, but this is more for, personal recording at the same time. And, maybe years later, it would be really interesting is to look back at the reviews of this seminar and then say, hey, where was I in that time, and where am I now, and kind of give a good comparison. Anyway, if you watched it to this far, bravo. Send me a PM and I'll send you something cool or funny or something. Anyway, you guys have a great night.